This morning, a Senate Homeland Security Subcommittee will dig into the controversial PGA Tour LIV Golf merger. The Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations says it will look at the deal's implication for the future of golf and Saudi Arabia's influence on the United States. PGA Tour Chief Operating Officer Ron Price and board member Jimmy Dunn are scheduled to testify. The hearing comes days after former CEO, AT&T CEO Randall Stephenson resigned from the Tour's policy board, citing serious concerns over the deal with LIV Golf. Joining us now, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. He's the ranking member of the Homeland Security Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. Senator, it's been a while. It's good to have you on. With Lina Khan and the FTC, number one, I don't know if any mergers go through anymore. I have no idea how you come down on this proposed deal and what, I don't know, what would be your concerns or what would be your reasons for thinking it is a good deal? Just talk to me.
Well, good morning, Joe. It's good to be back. Again, if it were up to me, we wouldn't be holding the hearing. We wouldn't be doing the inquiry. Right now, there is no deal. This is a delicate negotiation. It ought to be conducted in private, but we're going to hold the hearing, so I want to play a constructive role. I hope the hearing offers the PGA the opportunity to just describe the challenge it faces in operating and managing professional golf. It's not an easy thing, and it's even more difficult when all of a sudden you have the Saudi Arabia bringing in their $600 or $700 billion public investment fund, 500 times larger than the net assets of the PGA, and basically threaten the game of golf. And so this was the PGA was really faced with an existential threat, and this is what they're trying to do to preserve the game of golf and the purity of the competition at the highest level. So I would like to give the parties space to negotiate a deal, come up with a definitive agreement. I think it's a good thing that the lawsuits have now been dismissed with prejudice, which means they've basically declared a truce from that standpoint. That was a financial drain on the PGA that was not sustainable. Whereas, let's face it, the PIF, they're not in it for financial gain. They're in it for other reasons.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out exactly where you're coming from on this. So, there are certain people that think the stigma of the Khashoggi incident and 9/11, whatever, should preclude. Even Jay Monahan initially, that was his response before it wasn't his response. Then we always get into all kinds of finger pointing about, well, we certainly aren't going to stop buying oil from Saudi Arabia. We do business with Saudi Arabia. There's work camps in China and the Uyghur situation. We do a lot of business with China. Do you have an issue with Saudi money being used to have either a partnership or an ownership of the PGA Tour? Do you have a problem with that?
Well, listen, I have the deepest sympathy for the 9/11 families. I understand the issue of sports washing. I don't think there's not enough billions of dollars for the Saudis to wash away the stain of the brutal Khashoggi murder. But the reality is, we all buy oil. We use, we drive cars. We are the ones that are filling up the coffers of the public investment fund. I would rather have the Saudis invest their oil wealth in the U.S. as opposed to China or Russia. That's just the reality of the world. And again, I'm a lover of the game of golf. I love watching golf. I want to see the best golfers in the world compete against each other and not be split into different leagues and pretty well destroy the competition at the highest level. So I have a sympathy for what the PGA face. It was existential. I do believe that the individual that negotiated the deal, that initially reached out to the Saudis. I mean, this is Eddie Dunn, who lost 40% of his colleagues in the World Trade Center terrorist attack. So he also has a great respect for exactly what 9/11 families are dealing with, but he also loves the game of golf and realized that it really did face a real issue here that needed to be addressed.
It just is such, it's so nuanced, but it's not just this. And I'm glad they made the movie The Godfather 2, because there's a quote that says that, we're all part of the same hypocrisy. And it's just hard to navigate the current world and always be wearing a white hat and be the good guys, because you have to get your hands dirty in some places just from the reality of the situation. Well, and that's what we're dealing with. Am I wrong?
Joe, I'll point out, if the Saudis' investment in sports, including golf, if that helps them modernize, if that helps them provide more rights to women, wouldn't that be a good thing? I don't think the U.S. should be just at odds with countries that we don't agree with everything they've done. Again, you can't wash away the stain of the Khashoggi assassination. That's just not possible. We all know that exists. But at the same time, we use the Saudi oil. We can't look to the PGA to be the only person to bear the burden of holding the Saudis accountable.
What about China? I keep bringing up China, and you're not saying anything about China. You think the Khashoggi murder is somehow head and shoulders worse than what happens in the Uyghur work camps or the human rights violations in China?
Listen, there's all kinds of atrocities occurring all over the world. And we still have to deal with countries all over the world. That's just the reality of politics.
Then it really is business, Senator. Then it's business. And if the best thing for the sport of golf and for and that's what I think Jimmy Dunn was thinking, and that's what I think maybe when I've seen some of our guests come in and talk about it, they say that, look, it was going to be so costly on both sides to fight it that in the end, for players, for the sport, for viewers, for everybody else, this makes sense. And as you said, the Saudis do want to, at some point, do more than drill oil, especially given the pressures with climate and everything else. So how are they supposed to what should they be allowed to diversify into?
Well, first of all, I meant to say Jimmy Dunn, not Eddie Dunn. Right. They've got $600 or $700 billion. Do we just want them to burn the money? In general, foreign investment in the U.S. is a good thing. It shows that we've got a vibrant economy, that we have freedom, that we have protection of private property. We want to encourage people to invest in the U.S. And again, those are basically our dollars. Isn't it better to have those dollars invested here? And then as we are accepting those investment dollars, work with Saudi Arabia to reform, to modernize, to recognize people's rights, the rights of women. Again, they have a different culture than ours. We can't impose our beliefs, our culture on everybody, but we can still work with people, try and respect them, try and improve their behavior. That's just the way the world works.
By this logic,
it's not good to be at odds with people and constantly at war around the world.